I'm Laura Bryna, and you are listening to In the Mix with HK.
I love the musical notes going on in the back of your wall there.
Oh, thank you. I love the blues, so I love notes falling and all different kinds of things. And it was a friend of mine that kind of did a cool stencil and kind of fun things. So I love a little creativity and definitely some sass and attitude.
Nice, nice, nice. And the American flag I see you got there in the
Yes.
corner.
This actually flew with me. I got to do an F-16 ride with the Air National Guard. My call sign is Lil Thunder, not little, Lil. And I pulled 9 Gs and I went Mach 1, although I guess maybe I'm not supposed to say, well, I guess I can say that now. It is kind of top secret information, but oops, I just let it
out. were you able to keep everything down? Was your stomach okay?
I was so great. My barf bags were totally clean. It was amazing. Nice. I loved it. And my co-pilot his name was Kessler. I got to do it in Lackland Air Force Base down near San Antonio, Texas. Is really an amazing experience.
That's very, very cool. Okay, so listen, so this is our first time talking, first time meeting. I need the whole story because your bio doesn't go much past 2020. So are you in New Orleans or LA right now?
Right now I am in LA, but I get around. As my parents say, I give new meaning to fly the friendly skies. I'm like an airport hooker. I get around.
and so where originally born and raised where?
In Maryland, Washington, D.C. area, Mount Airy, Maryland.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know.
Well, I kind of say turn left at the cow, right at the church, and keep on going. That's kind of where I'm from.
I've got tons of family, both my wife and I, both sides of our family in Maryland, Baltimore area.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
you love your Old Bay and your crabs and the whole
Oh game. God, yeah. When did the music bug hit you? At what point were you in your life and where were you when you realized, okay, this is what I want to do, and I want to go all the way with this thing.
Okay, growing up, my parents had this great jukebox filled with 50s and 60s, the oldies, great music. Oh my gosh, I love it. And let's not lie, I would have been great in a poodle skirt, but whatever. The music was so great, and so because people think it's so funny that I know all these 50s and 60s songs, but there we were, my sisters and I, and we're like all different family members. We got mixed marriages, deaths, divorces, all smushed all together. And there we were, I was the lead singer and my sisters were my backup singers and dancers. And there we were singing like Be My Baby by the Ronettes or whatnot. And we just thought we were so amazing. And my parents saw these shows like 50 times a day. And my parents were like, oh my God, if we have to do this another time. They were like, we cannot do this. And so I don't know, it kind of just grabbed me then. And there we were with our spoons. And again, we thought we were fantastic, charging our parents 25 cents a ticket or whatever. Mind you, they saw the show like 3 or 4 times a day. They wanted to probably shoot themselves. But it just became this like thing where and I've never done drugs before. And it was kind of like this thing where you're like, come get me, you want me, okay. And I'm like, oh, no. And so I just went after it. It was that kind of a thing. And in our family, we've had some difficulties and some sad things happen. And my brother suffered a brain aneurysm. And he was around 13 years old, again, all mixed marriages, deaths, divorces. And that's kind of where I saw the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And I started, when I got old enough, I got to volunteer and I sat on the board and I co-wrote a song for them called Make-A-Wish. And that's kind of where the whole recording started. And that was in Nashville. And I'm one of these people that always wants to learn and grow and learn everything I can to be a part of this business and to be a part of this dream, whether it's dancing or singing or acting or doing whatever. I just love that connection with people. And, I don't call them fans. We're called Bryniacs, all of us. We're a big family. And I love, like you're saying in Minneapolis, it was just that that exciting moment of being on stage, and whether people's equipment is failing or, it's so cold out, you just are in that magical moment and you're connecting.
Right.
And I think that's what's been so hard about the pandemic too, is that we didn't get to connect intimately like we can through shows like yours. So I appreciate you even having me on. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're excited to have you. Yeah, it's for 3 years it was really, really tough. It really was.
So tough.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm not doing my radio show, I perform as well, and I just literally did last weekend, the 17th, St. Patrick's Day. I just did a makeup show that was canceled 3 years ago.
That's incredible.
Yeah, yeah. I was supposed to perform St. Patrick's Day in 2020, and the gig, of course, got canceled, and so I just finally got back to that club last week.
That's so fun.
And it was great. So yeah, it was hard for people like us who thrive on being out there and doing our art and being in front of an audience. It was really difficult. Did you take on a lot of binge watching during the pandemic, or did you lock yourself in and be all creative?
I did a lot of everything. I think during that time, I think we all learned a lot about ourselves. I thought, for me, I want to be creative, and what I did is I got on TikTok, and granted, with all our different social media platforms, but I really found TikTok, and I found that's where the Bryniacs really came alive, and we've become such a great family, and our whole motto is that we accept everybody, and whether doing creative things or whatnot, but we all talk about what's going on in our lives. It's a real place. It's a safe place. I mean, we've had people, Bryniacs come out on our lives. We've had, we now have the ASL community a part of us, and which, we're always wanting to include everybody. I mean, there's so much yuck and hatred out there, and it's like, no, we want this to be a positive space where everybody can feel comfortable and accepted. And I know for me personally, and he didn't pass away from COVID, but my father passed away. It'll be 2 years in April. And
very sorry.
Although it feels like it was yesterday. Thank you. And that they really helped me through that. It was, I remember Morningstar saying to me, she's like, Laura, it's okay not to be okay. Because there I was in that last month of my dad's life, I'm giving morphine, and I'm a musician. I know nothing about morphine and doing all those things. And, whether it's changing diapers, and maybe that's a lot of information, but, during those sad moments, that's when you call on my Bryniacs. That's when I called upon them. I'm like, and they're like, it's okay, Laura, we're behind you. We know, we got this. You're doing great. You can get through this. We got you. I mean, it's just, it's really that one of it. It's a family that you can't even describe. It's a love it's just, when you're used to being on stage and being with people and connecting. And, I've been so blessed to play little cafes to big stadiums. And, whether it's the last person in the stadium or in the last row, or whether it's the person right there in the cafe sitting in front of you, you're making that connection. And TikTok allowed me to find that and stay creative and stay connected. Because anybody that tells you that it didn't affect me, I'm okay, they're lying. We all had some form of depression during this. It was a really sad and dark time, but what I did get to see is that how much we brought people together. We got to see, when the shit hits the fan, we're all really there for one another. I mean, I remember being in the grocery store, and there was an elderly lady that needed, I don't know, it was water, or she needed vinegar because it was considered, a cleansing agent, or and it's all natural. And, all of a sudden, and she's sitting there tearing up, I don't have this. Everybody runs, and they're like, hey, I got this for you, and that's, as human beings, we do want to help. We want to stay connected. And I was really lucky that Mount Sinai in New York took my song "Hometown Heroes" and they played it in their hospital the whole time. And we put together a neat collage of different pictures of first responders, and they played it in their elevators and everything. And just so people know that we're thinking of them. And it was really one of those, one of those moments in your life that you're like, I need to help in some way, shape, or form. I'm not a first responder, but if I can help through a song or just saying I love you or I support you, that's what it needs to be. And that's what I try to do every day. And that's something my parents have instilled in me, is to give back and help those less fortunate than I.
Yeah, it's giving of one's time and efforts is, I always say, the person who does the giving is receiving a bigger gift than the person who's receiving it. It's amazing how healing that can be. And music, just putting yourself out there and helping those in need. But music is also such a wonderful healer. When I lost my dad, music is what got me through it. And in fact, all the difficult times in my life. And we just lost our first sibling, my brother-in-law. And I just, I really lean on music during those hard times.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful that you have it to lean on for yourself, but that you also can give the gift of that to others.
Yeah. It's like you're saying, like, even with my dad's last final days, and my dad passed away from a very rare blood cancer during COVID. But, the night before he passed, or no, 2 nights before he passed away, we were all singing 50s and 60s music, and you could see doing the whole doo-wop thing. And
did you break out your poodle skirt?
Oh, wait, I would have loved to have had a poodle skirt. My dad was like, you were born way, way at the wrong time, too far down later down the road. But
I know you referenced the poodle skirt earlier. You said
I would have loved a poodle skirt. Yeah. Oh my God.
I thought there was your opportunity.
I was like, yeah, I was like, oh, but it was, music is really healing. It's a wonderful way for people to connect too. And that even happened with, as you are a creative person, as an artist, when you put your music out there, you're like, oh God, are people going to like it? Do they think it's good? I don't know. Does my arm hang too low? I don't know anything. And it was cool to see that Stars Are Falling, even though that music video was shot way before, several months before the pandemic, and we recorded it before the pandemic too. And then it became kind of a song of the pandemic. People kept saying, first responders would say, God, I came home and I listened to your song, and it just, today was a really difficult day. We lost several people in the hospital, and they were like, your song it really resonated with me, and it helped me through a difficult day. As a musician, as a creative person, you're like, if that happens once, you're like, I've done my job.
Right.
You touch one person's heart.
You've made that connection, exactly. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, for sure.
And that connection happened when I heard Jawbreaker.
That's it.
That is why we are here today.
Yes.
Not only do I love the song, but I love the video. I love the video. The video's got a great look and feel. So what is at the core? I mean, I love the whole Roadhouse vibe and what's going on in the video. Like I said, it's got a great look and feel. The song is fantastic. I see you're working with a friend of mine, Damon. We'll talk about that in a second.
I love Damon. He's so good.
But what was the impetus to Jawbreaker?
So I sat down with Damon. I'm like, we need to write a song that's sassy attitude, in your face. I love me some good blues. I was like, I love that whole, Chris Stapleton bluesy vibe, kind of a little bit Carrie Underwood-ish, kind of a little bit of everything. But the video too, we wanted it to show what this sass and attitude in your face looks like. And it was kind of like the Roadhouse meets Moulin Rouge meets a little bit of kind Coyote Ugly, but yet also pays homage to the video or to the movie Jawbreaker itself.
Yeah.
So it kind of was a little bit of everything. And when I sat down with Damon, I mean, he was like, "All right, what does Laura Bryna want to say next?" And so that was kind of where we went with it. And just, you know, really, when you concoct these things in your head, you never know what it's going to turn out to be. And then it's
No.
and for me, I feel like if it was the last song I ever got to sing, and that I thought, okay, this is who Laura Bryna is, I'd be like, this is Jawbreaker.
I'm going to interrupt just for a second, just to interject, because you just said something I really liked. You never know how it's going to turn out. And I think fans and listeners, people not in the business, don't get that.
Right.
I don't care if it's music or you're making a movie or a TV show. You could spend 1,000 hours storyboarding it. You could have you could have a vision for it. You could rehearse it. But at the end of the day, you know, you never really know how it's going to turn out until it's done.
Exactly. And you like, just when it's done, you throw it out there and you're like, okay, is it good? I don't even know.
Right. And then, of course, all the insecurities that come with that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Again, people don't get the sense of that when you're on stage, because you have so much confidence, and now you finally get to perform your music. But that's very different than the whole insecurity process we go through when it's done. And getting back to something you said before, you know, oh, are they going to like it? And does this outfit I'm wearing in the video look good? Am I revealing enough? Am I revealing too much? What am I?
Exactly. I know. You're so right. It's like,
right.
No, what do we do?
Right. Yeah.
And you really just, as a creative person,
you torture yourself.
You're throwing it out there, and you're just like, I hope it sticks. Or you know, am I saying the right thing? And you know, and that's the thing that I've learned too, and is I've always been somebody to take a risk. So why start now? You know, I want to be true to myself. I want to be authentic, because you know what? The Brainiacs know when you're not, you know, and it's funny. Like you're talking about like the insecurities, or, oh my God, I thought it was this or that. Like a lot of times I come off stage and people are like, oh, we thought you were taller. And I'm like, it's going to be deceiving. It's big hair and big shoes, and that does all the work. So
I think everyone thinks every artist or movie star is taller when they meet them in person.
Oh no, we 5 foot right here.
Yeah. That just seems to be a phenomenon I've run across. There's a few exceptions, but very few. So Damon Sharp, co-writer and producer on the track.
Yes.
How did you hook up with Damon?
Oh gosh. So I met Damon through a great friend, and we have a mutual friend, and they were like, you know, I was looking for, you know, again, I'm always trying to figure out what Laura Bryna wants to say next. And so, you know, and it's funny because you think there's so much pressure on your first project, and then when you come to do your second one, your third, your fourth, it's like there's even more pressure on, or more pressure that you put on yourself, because it's like, oh gosh, is it just as good as the first one, or is it better? Is it la la la? And Damon really got me. He and I just connected when we met at first, and it was this. He's always said, you know, Laura, he's like, I don't want to change you, or I don't want to make you something that you're not. He's like, I want to challenge you. He's like, I want to take Laura Bryna to the next step, or what she wants to say next. And like, even again, like Jawbreaker, pushing the edge. Like we just wrote a new song. It's called Over Being Under You. Appropriate or not, you know, little play on words, but as you do in country. But yeah, like he just totally gets me. And what I love about him too is that he's a musician, he's a writer, he's done it all, producer, now a DJ, all of the above. He's done everything. So he really understands as an artist what it's like to be in your shoes. So I really, really appreciate that. And I really look upon him for his guidance.
Well, I got to tell you, Jawbreaker's just got a killer country rock and roll blues vibe. And yeah, you are definitely throwing the attitude out there. I like it.
Thanks.
Yeah. This is a speed round.
Okay.
Give me 5 things that you absolutely love, and it can't be music related, and it can't be a person.
Okay.
So in other words, it can't be a boyfriend, a spouse, your mom and dad. That's too obvious.
Right. Right.
That's too obvious. Like, but it could be like, mac and cheese.
Okay. I'm on it. So whipped cream is a major, major thing for me. Love whipped cream. My parrots, because I have birds that I've written books about too. And let's see. I obviously love my crabs. I do love I love cars. I love
Nice.
cars. Very fun about that. And I love to travel.
Nice. Nice. Those are all good 5 ones. Okay. I like that.
I love to give back.
Excellent. Okay. Well, that was a bonus one. I got 6. There you go. Okay. This is this or that. Okay.
Okay.
So dogs or cats?
Dogs,
Pizza or burgers?
burgers.
Football or baseball?
Oh, oh gosh, that's a tie. I love both. Maybe okay, I'll pick baseball.
Okay.
But I love both.
Workout junkie or couch potato?
Probably a workout junkie. But I like
Mm,
both. I do a lot of dance, so that's my thing.
Okay. Oh man, you guys stay in shape. Yeah. Movies or books?
Movies,
Junk food or health food?
junk food,
Fly or tour bus?
tour bus,
Morning person or night owl?
morning.
Unusual for an artist.
I know
I,
it's weird.
I've only come across a few that are a few artists who like it in the morning. Most
Damon's a morning person too.
yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
although I can be an even, I mean, I'm an evening person too. I don't require a lot of sleep. So I'm one of these that maybe gets like maybe 6 hours and then all of a sudden I'm like, I can do it for so long or go on nothing. And then all of a sudden I go clonk and then I'm down for like a day and then I'm up again. I'm like,
Something tells me you might be a type A personality.
a little crazy, a little crazy.
I think that's common with type A personalities. You can function on less sleep
Yeah.
and still a morning person.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe the creative side of our brain typically does seem to fire more later on in the day, but type A personalities still are really, really good in the morning and are hitting the pavement right from the get-go
Yeah.
and function on less sleep. Yeah.
Well, this is actually how I found my love of whipped cream. Like I have a really big love of whipped cream, like in a bad sense. Like I buy cases of it from the grocery store. I mean, not that I'm the kinkiest person, but I'm just saying, whatever.
I was gonna say I want to get into
That's a different show.
The uses of your whipped cream.
That's a different show. But actually, that's how my brain is constantly working. And in order for me to come down, I have to drink a glass of warm milk at night with whipped cream. And it kind of just like brings me to, otherwise I keep a notepad next to my bed and I'm like, constantly writing lyrics. Oh, don't forget to do this. And it's funny, a lot of times Damon and I both like to record in the morning sometimes. He's like, hey, how about we do 10? I'm like, all right, works for me. Cause both of us are up at like 6:30. So.
Yeah. It seems no matter what time I go to bed, and I have many a late night in the studio, but I'm still typically up around 6:37. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you do one of my 2 bedtime formulas. I either do hot cocoa with whipped cream, tons of whipped cream, because I love hot cocoa and whipped cream at night, or I'm really into herb teas too.
I mean, I'm a tea if I'm not feeling well, but you can't beat hot chocolate and you can't beat some good milk with whipped cream. I totally get you, Howard. I'm totally on point with you.
Yeah, you can't. It's absolutely the best. All righty. Let me run this by you.
Okay.
Okay. What is the most important lesson that you've learned about the music business that you could share with those that are thinking of pursuing music?
Always learn. Don't think you know it all. When somebody wants to have a meeting, even if it's a coffee, even if it's just, if you think it's the assistant, if you think it's the if you want to call them little people, whatever you want to say, nobody's a little person. You never know who somebody's going to turn out to be. And you know what? You can sleep later.
That's right.
You never always learn and always be kind and nice to people. That goes everywhere. I'll give you, for an example. I was being interviewed on ABC in New York, and I was on their entertainment section, and the woman before me was on talking about whoever's having a shindig with whatever and something, whatever. She comes off, the cameras are off for a second before I go on to be interviewed. And she said, "Oh, hi, Laura. It's so good to see you. I have your thank you note sitting in my office." And I'll tell you this, I always like to write a handwritten thank you note. And she was at Country Weekly at the time when I met her. And I wrote her a personal thank you note because my mom would have my tushy if I didn't. You ain't writing no email. That ain't happening. So I wrote a thank you note. And look what that is. She remembered. She's like, "Oh, I have your note in my office hanging on my bulletin board."
Awesome.
It pays to be nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And always willing to learn. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, the name of the track is Jawbreaker. Laura Bryna is the artist. If you haven't downloaded the song by now, what are you waiting for?
Hello.
Come on. Laura Bryna in the mix with HK.
Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it.
You are quite welcome. Look forward to seeing you again.
Definitely. Let's do it.
All righty. Take care.